Hola, hola.
And I'm not in that line, but everybody who had the decency to support you, everybody who had the decency to get behind you, they got blessed as well. So, the person who jumped in front of you.
Welcome back to another episode of No Filters.
Now, what is also get in front of you? This, for some of you out there, involves a relationship where the other person or party always put you, second or made you always give to them or feed into them.
Patience is always appreciated.
But when it came time to support you, when it came time to doing stuff for you, all of a sudden they had all these excuses when they could have very easily supported you, reached out their hand. They could have.
They could have.
Chose not to. So
Yep.
when it came down to being chosen, it wasn't them. Okay. They had to watch, and for the rest of the days, they're gonna wonder what would have happened if I would have gotten hurt. The next one. All right. So
Tossing and turning in his sleep. So I'm moving forward in progression.
When it comes to this advancement, when it comes to being chosen, you're gonna have some unauthorized entitlement. Okay. What does this mean?
Popcorn's on the channel, you know what I mean? Depending on how long or short this may be. And my honey, if you know, you know.
Things like, you don't deserve this.
Yeah.
You can't do that, like how in our example, when you was moving and dancing and
Do I deserve this, God?
Yes, I can. Like the authority.
Oh, it is written in the Cosmos, right?
Pick me.
Oh, sit up straight. Posture of a God King, right?
Who are you to tell me I can't do what I was authorized to do? Okay, you have no authority.
Basically.
Some of you all are going to come into this next 30
Yeah,
days, and you're going to realize that maybe people.
So you provide me with clarity, not confusion, and discernment, right? So I don't need to overthink no more. So it is what it is. It's black and white. Okay, teach me how to use the heart properly and stop just loving everybody, because when you ask people to reach out to you to see what it is and they don't, then they told you what it is. Okay, bet. All right. That goes for everybody. All right, bet.
You don't have the authority to tell me what God can and can't do in my life. You know what I mean? You're going to start really noticing unauthorized authority. Your main question may be, well, who do they think they are? And it comes with a boldness. Like, I feel like a sense of boldness coming with it, where you're going to be able to stand up, you're going to be able to tell people no, or
follow her too.
Learn how to remove yourself from situations.
Water Starlight, I think. She's really good too. Another baddie in the collective. X Squads. And follow Chosen 144. Now they go on too. There's a lot of them. Michelle, Soldier Spirit. Moon, Latoya Kia. Light. Lulu Barbie, I think her name is. Nene, the Southern Intuitive, I believe. Forgive me if I'm butchering anybody's name. But you know what it is.
And I'm telling you this, a lot of times you get told these things to prepare. Because I see somebody right now, you got an explanation on the tip of your tongue.
And also follow Crystal Vibes.
They don't have the authority to pull that out of you. It's kind of like if you have to call your bank, like, wait a minute, I didn't authorize this transaction.
So there's a lot of, Water Star Vibes. Right there. I don't know how well this is going to come out in the final video.
Okay, so what does this mean for some of you guys? For some of y'all, this is an internal thing. You feel bad. Somebody made you feel bad. It's like, oh, wait a minute.
All right, let's jump right into the download. How is everybody feeling on this beautiful, beautiful Monday, fun days? No. See, lack of sleep, you're mixing days, but we can have a Monday fun days. Why not? I normally associate the fun days with Sunday, which is the first day of the cycle. I don't like saying week, because if you know what it means, that's right, no hesitation. Everything's witchcraft, so when they give us 7 days of the week, when it comes to working context, they say you have 7 days of the week. And the whole purpose of week for the workforces is to weaken us individuals on the hamster wheel. Okay, you have 2 days off, so the weekend. So that means weekend basically means weekend. You're weekend by the end of the cycle. And then you start again on Monday you start again on Monday through Friday, and then your weekend, you have 2 days to relax, and you go back to Big Boss Man, right? Like how they attempt to okey-doke us with there's 24 hours in a day, Words are very powerful, so we got to be very careful of what comes off our tongue. So when they say there's 24, when I say they, I mean whoever you may be working for. When you hear the term or the expression, there's 24 hours in a day, our brain believes anything we tell it. So when you're in the workforce and you believe there's 24 hours in a day, you're more susceptible. It's like drinking alcohol. You're like, your barrier's down. That is very similar in the work environment too. You'll be more susceptible to your boss or somebody saying, hey, you want to work some overtime? Boom, boom, boom. And then you realize you work so much to get imaginary money, paper that you should already have, yada, yada. And then you come home, and if you have a family, it's even worse because you're so drained and weakened that you don't have the proper energy to give to your loved ones, which is the whole purpose of you working so hard, is for the support of your loved ones, I hope, and for your generational wealth building purposes, so you can pass along something for all that hard work and sacrificing you did to make sure the roof stays over their head and your family's happy with you in all aspects. So we need to be very careful of the words and terminology we use because we're subconsciously programming our bodies every day. Oh, and strangely, I had this prophetic dream the other night. That I was having a party. Yeah, right. It was crazy. So crazy. I was sitting over there on the couch. If you know, you know. Sitting over there on the couch, and the spirit talked to me and said, oh, you forgot to say this the last video. You know, this is copycat energy. This is just a skit I'm doing. Obviously, this is not my real vision. But I was sitting over there on the couch, for if you know, you know, for anything that's trendy. People like to copy. So I was sitting over there on the couch, and Spirit told me that I forgot in my last video to talk about a dream I had. It was a party. Strange that I had a party vision after I just did a video about having good times with the collective and so forth. So this individual said that Spirit told them to bring up a dream that they forgot about in their last video they did about having a party, and Donald Trump shows up, and then all of a sudden he's having a lot of friends and he's the host of the party, and then they all leave, and then the president leaves with his barricade, and then all of a sudden a loud explosion goes off like a bomb. And then so miraculously he survives, and he's looking around at all the chaos, and then he remembers the investigative team is looking at the bomb at the gas station. Supposedly the bomb went off at the gas station and it demolished everything. And that individual was asked by a bomb expert, since the bomb expert couldn't defuse it himself, he looked at the person that had the dream, trendy dream, and then he woke up. And we were just talking about Charlotte Webb's last time, and I was just talking about the collective and paying attention to patterns. And since now I'm in my position, we don't no longer let anything slide, depending on the degree on it. But when it's plagiarism or copyright infringement or just plain out thievery, it has to be addressed. So this person didn't have a dream about no party. It was a underlying jealousy, hateful vision, because he was basically, since I decode dreams like Joseph in the Bible, hence the Pharaoh needed someone to decode his dream and ask Joseph, which his brothers tossed him into slavery, and that plan didn't work out too well because Joseph ended up to be the Pharaoh's right-hand man and then saved the country from 7 years of famine and so forth. You know the story. So I'm basically Joseph in this reincarnation. People you thought ride with you, and then they toss you off to slavery, and they bury you with dirt like the movie Step Brothers, and then you come out rising looking like Kill Bill and bada bing getting a Slurpee. All the same shit I said in the last video. So yeah, you got to be very careful when you're messing with Charlotte's Webs, because we capture everything. We feel the vibrations coming from every direction. So if you emulate me without giving me proper credit, then you'll get addressed. But yeah, that basically the dream deciphered so I can stay on point, thank you, Spirit Team, was basically saying that since he wasn't invited to the collective, and since he likes to copy and make schools up that he doesn't have a school, that he wasn't invited to the collective, that he's going to come show up somehow and put a bomb in there and blow up the party and to kill he's basically a joy thief. He's the joy police, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's basically what that's how that dream was decoded. So he didn't have that dream, hence he listened to my video and then he heard that and then he was like, okay, well I could just say that I had a dream and I just forgot to bring it up. And Donald Trump, he brought that up because he knows I rock with Trump, because the energy he's rocking, representing bold moves, he's for the black people, yada yada. If you don't believe it, don't worry about it. That I invited him since we're here, we're a part of the club, you know what I'm saying? We're there. So yeah, I had Donald Trump there, and then he figured that since he wasn't invited, he's outside window shopping. He would sabotage the party somehow, but he keeps on forgetting we're true chosen ones. So anything that they think that's malevolent towards a chosen one, that energy really does get returned back to sender in some cases when you're thinking malevolent, devilish, deadly, harmful energies against something that's cosmically been destined by the Galactic Council to take place to change the frequencies of this planet. So if you're going against that, that means you stand against God's plans. So you are not with us, you are against us. Hence God been saying, hey, get some clarity. You have to ask some tough questions to people you love. Ask them, are they involved in the sacrifice, and did they try to manipulate any type of documents, legal documents with your name on it so they can try to manipulate you? Did they ever ask you to write a will prematurely and all this other stuff? There's a lot of sabotaging going on. You have to ask these type of questions, though. Ask people that may have this type of information. Ask around, okay? Joseph's own brothers tossed him into slavery. I'm not accusing anybody, but I had to talk to my own brothers and ask some tough questions. I'm going places. I need to make sure my surroundings are not backstabbing Judases or any type of Caesar people in the Senate. I don't do that. I told my own brother if he's involved in any type of stuff, God will destroy him and anybody that's involved with it. You know how hurtful that is for me to tell you guys that, and for me to even talk to my brother about that, just to ask him. I'm not saying he's guilty of anything, but I have to ask everyone. I've asked friends too, and it hurts me to do that, but I would rather be uncomfortable with that person and ask straight up transparency questions. So this is a lesson to anybody that you may be around that you feel a certain way. Address the questions. If they get defensive, then you already know your answer. But if they're calm, even though they could be calm and manipulative too, you just need to know how to read your energies and intuitiveness and stuff. And don't let someone that's blood fool you, okay? You see, even Jesus got betrayed by Judas, but Jesus knew that Judas was going to do what he did, all right? So it's like, I got to ask the tough, uncomfortable questions. Hence, I'm transmuting this now, sitting there listening to a message from God. And then I got the instinct, all right, do a video. It's a new day. Talk to the world about what you just went through. And I sat there for a minute. I was like, I don't even fucking want to do it. And I forgot I got anointed. I have to do everything that God tells me to do. It doesn't matter how uncomfortable it is. I'm not doing this no longer for Alonzo. It's not for me no more. It doesn't matter. If I get a download, my ear goes numb, I hear the ringing, it's time to go. If I get up here and I stutter, I'm like, shit, I don't know what to talk about. I'm still going to record it, and we're going to come back with Spirit Team, get back to the foundation and talk to it. I'm going through a major metamorphosis now. Yes, if I said that right. I'm basically going through a major change. I'm killing my old self, which is very tough because my old self does not want to leave. It has its own self-preservation code in it. It knows something's majorly happening. It wants me to attack everybody I see talking sideways and so forth. I failed that test earlier today. I was commenting on some people's stuff. I was like, God damn it, so I just said I wouldn't do that shit. But at the same time, every time I stand on kingdom business, I'm releasing an ancestor that was trapped or couldn't finish something that my family was attempting to change, and they just couldn't do it for whatever reasons that may be. So I'm now hold the baton that they passed to me spiritually to finish that race for my family's family to have generational wealth that God promised our ancestors and whoever walks in his light. will be promised eternal life, and you will always be protected. You will have your lands with no wild beasts, no swords will pass through your lands, no weapon shall prevail. No weapons formed against us, chosen ones, shall prosper. You know what I mean? So anybody that's thinking about doing some shit now, especially with the climate change, I don't know what the fuck you guys are thinking about. Repetition is the sister of success. Some of these things may be redundant to you. You may be tired of seeing me here going through spiritual warfare, but I don't really care if you're tired of it, because I have to express it, because I'm not sleeping with it. I'm not going to bed with this shit. It's going to you. It's going to the next person. It's a conversation builder now. Now it's something to talk about that now you can hopefully use as a gem to prevent yourself from going through this. Or some of these paths are not preventable. You have to go through the spiritual warfare, and the closer you get to your destiny, you're going to get attacked a lot more. I'm not going to rest no more without doing my expression to the world. It doesn't matter how redundant it is. I came way too far to get my generational wealth, self-built myself, promoted myself in this position, for me to get fearful, which gods are not afraid of anybody. Doesn't matter how big, small you are, doesn't matter how many people you got with you, how many weapons you got. We laugh at that shit. Hence I said last time, cracking my knuckles, we're tired of all the talking. We just want to see some shit. We want to see the show. It's like going to a movie and we just keep on seeing a blank screen. It's like, is the show going to start yet? We just hearing a lot of audio coming out, but there's no visuals matching audio. So we're sitting there getting up and packing up, about to leave the theater and shit. We're not advocating violence or nothing, but I'm not going to take off my throne. Okay, guys, you won. You guys spent enough production money. You guys got it. I'm going to let the devil prevail. I'm going to go over here and just be normal again and be broke again and stuck in the matrix. You think I'm going to go all the way back down the mountain after I brought up the flower to Ra's al Ghul? It's the Conan fucking blanket, man. We ain't going back down. You're going to have to take us off this bitch physically. Right, physically, you're going to have to take us off this bitch. We ain't going nowhere. I ain't shit. I'm just having flashbacks to me on that cold ass truck and shit. People just walking past, going to the gas station, buying shit, and I ain't giving a fuck. Same with people. Well, it doesn't even matter. You already know. They showed their true colors. Yeah, my nuts itch too. I'm scratching them bitches. No filter. That feels good too. I'm gonna use the same hand to go back in the popcorn bucket because I did just take a shower. Is he really scratching his nuts? Yes, I was. Slow chews. My nuts are clean. Oh shit. Got you. Well, it's not 2 hairs, it was 3. Delicious. Sometimes I save them just for floss. I run out and like, bam. You nasty. You damn right. I like that shit in the bedroom though. You're gonna pluck your ball hairs in the bathroom? I said bathroom. Bedroom? Just joking. No, I would never go that foul. Why would I do that? I just do that to change the algorithms. Let's read something from the Bible. It's called Goals. Ironically, I flipped right open to Goals. Well, it's earmarked. In your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Okay? I am reading a book that has been manipulated, but is coming from our source, our God, us. Okay? So all your little comments, I don't give a shit, but you feel the power, and the devils fear the word of God. So that's all the purpose is. I wear the armor of God. I wear the... Not making fun of anything. I love everybody, first and foremost. I just realized, I was like, wait a minute. That's not a joke at all. I was just doing it because I stuttered. In your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everybody. Let's start that again. Everybody was everyone. So I was too excited. Let's take a picture of that. Make sure I move my chubby popcorn oil smeared fingers. Okay. The cover fell off. Sorry, I've been folding it, putting it against my chest, putting that good energy in it. Oh, you worship the white man? You guys are so 3D level. It's not even funny. In your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect. 1 Peter 3:15. Let's break that down first and foremost. I read that a few days ago and I was like, I like that. He said, I knew what it meant, but then God asked me a test. Okay, so how would you tell your collective, not my collective, if you hear me saying my collective, we're all one, right? Sometimes I may say something that may be an oxymoron. Oxymoron means you say you don't want division, but at the same time you say it's my collective. Which could be analyzed in a few different ways by saying that's your collective. That means it's not God's collective. If someone wants to break that down, politicians are really good at manipulating things, taking it out of context. So instead of saying my collective, the reason I said my collective is because I feel like that's my true cosmic family. And I feel like they feel the same way too. It's mutual for the ones that know. So if they say my collective, we say that eternally for our own brain CPU to let us know that there is a separation in this devil, in this current climate we're living in, where a lot of people's lower frequencies are outweighing the natural frequencies of this planet. So in that aspect, in that context, I would say my collective. So I know eternally that I have a true, loyal, transparent, cosmic family that's truly knows who I am, relates to who I am, and vice versa, because our inner childs are all alive. When I look at all of the collective, it makes me cry most of the time because they have never, or they have, maybe they have. It's very hard for me to see when I look at them that they've ever put their inner child in a cage. I feel like all through their life they've been unique. They may have been feeling isolated like we've all had, and we've asked ourselves the tough questions. Is it me? Yes, I believe most of us has done that. Hence the shadow work, because you figure out that you're a chosen one when you find out you're just being yourself, and then you get isolated just by being authentic. And people hate you just for being authentic. Once you get the understanding, then you realize that there's a lot more negative frequencies filling this planet in order for us to get that result from a lot of percentages of people out here. It doesn't matter where you're at. Just by you showing love, it seems like you get a lot of resistance just off showing love, which is the natural frequency and the most powerfulest frequency out here is love. So this verse, 1 Peter 3:15, off goals, that says, in your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to anyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect. So let's break it down line for line. I like reading in between the lines. In your heart to revere Christ as Lord. Very simple. Respect and pay homage to the person that gave you life every day you get up. Versus paying your cell phone homage. Your cell phone did not give you life. And a lot of us, I fell victim and fall victim to it a lot of times until one of my ears deafened. And then I start feeling in my chest like, what are you doing, Zoe? You're about to get involved in your Batman outfit. And you just had a grand rising. You better get your ass outside and do some grounding. Didn't you write a note next to your door that says you always praise God and nature and your team and your spirit team for giving you the protection and the constant life of love and full of abundance and generational wealth, the first in your family to change algorithms, and you're the first to be a vessel for God, so you can hopefully have that love frequency ripple out to the right people, so when you transition to your next mission, then people will be emulating you in a good way, which is not me. They'll be emulating God by just putting the right frequencies out there and standing on kingdom business and being so confident with it. That is the cool thing to do, because that's the natural thing to do. Confirmation, bitches. Versus what we've been okey-doked and indoctrinated to believe, that everything is ass backwards now. What is bad is good, and what is good is bad. That's fucked up. So let's break it down for line for line. This book is called The Bible Promises to You. You can look it up. The Coalition of Hope, I believe, gave me a few Bibles for me to read during my transition time, and they asked me if they wanted to pray. It was some ladies that came in here and did the measurements before they delivered the furniture. And before they left, they asked me, after they gave me some Bibles and some literature, if they could pray with me. And I swear to God, my left shoulder's like, get these women out the house. We got blunts to smoke. Right? We just got here out of the truck. We don't need no little hokey dokey religion. That's what I was thinking. Then my mom appeared behind those ladies and looked at me with the meanest face, like, you better get on your knees and grab these ladies' hands and pray and be grateful for this shit. They don't have to be here giving you measurements of free furniture. They don't have to do none of that. You better get on your knees and show gratitude and gratefulness. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Got on the knees, and I took lead of the prayer. And then I think I was about to bust down and cry, but then I looked out when they had their eyes closed. I ain't gonna do that. I'm holding my ground, you know. So some of my egos, I'm holding my ground. These ladies looking at me like, I'm surprised this guy is, he's whatever, I was about to make a joke, but whatever they're thinking, I was just proud that they were open-hearted for me to transition. Just in that few moments, I was like, I'm not gonna let my ego. Well, my mom actually showed that to me. I didn't just come up with that. I was letting Frank Castle chest say, man, we got weed to smoke, we gotta chill, we gotta get our PTSD settled. So I wasn't recording as much and being as open. Or I was always recording. But I didn't know my mission per se. That was more therapy during my 40 days and 40 nights. So I get down on the knees, hold these ladies' hands. I had the paper. Miss Joan, if you're watching this, I love you. And the other lady's name I forgot. The other half of the cover is over there. And I got closer to God that day in spirit. And then when they left, it gave me a different perspective. I was like, there's power in the words of God. And I just, all due respect, I was on Rashad Jamal tip. I was just like, we're black gods. I don't even want to hear anything about no indoctrination books. So this is was collecting dust, to be totally honest. I was on Xanthia, 9 ether beings, not DNA, DEA. I was on that tip. Those ain't mountains. Those are trees. I was just getting myself together and just unlearning everything. So when people brought up the Bible, there was something in me that got me really defensive. I was like, fucking get that shit out of my face, because it just brings back the imprisonment that we were brought to, and a lot of us are stuck under this day based off this book. It just brings me back to our ancestors and how they forced us into religion when religion never existed. It's always been about spirituality. That phone's probably gonna go ding, confirmation, bitches. Surprised it didn't. But yeah, it's never been religion, and they force us to either conform or die, you know what I mean? So once you realize everything is energy and frequencies and vibrations, you unlearn everything you have been taught, which is very hard. You disassociate with people that you associate with so long. Subconsciously, that person or those relationships become a form of our identity, which could be a good thing and a bad thing. If you let that identity of that relationship dictate your next move in life, then you will never progress. If you're stuck on past memories of people that you used to have good times with, and then life moved on, which it always does, and then you're not as close with those people, and you're so stuck on that one memory or those couple memories because you feel like without that group of people, then your identity no longer exists. So that's another question. This is day 6 of class. Everything I say is a class session. So then that proposes or leads to another question. Why do you feel like the group of people you were chilling with made you who you were? Was it a temporary happiness that distracted you from your real life reality that you avoid as much as you can by going out with people and having fun to not think about what you're going through in real life? You may be asking, how do I know all this stuff? Because I've been there with most of the scenarios I'm talking to you about. If I get a download from God, most likely that download from her is basically a scenario I've already been through that I can tell you in a campfire scenario to protect people's identities to a degree, people I love, and for me to share the story in a way that most people can relate to. So there's nothing ever false about me. I'm not just going to pull out records and tell you everything about their birth date and how many pubes they got and shit like that. It's just, no, it's not the purpose of the show. No filter means like I'm not going to have any governor's pen of my delivery and I don't even like saying stories. I'm going to attempt to remind myself to not call them stories because that can be taken out of context. I'm going to say sharing my experiences is a lot more, I think, an honest reply that I believe will be very difficult to take out of context if I'm just saying I'm sharing my experiences versus if I always say I'm sharing my stories. People could say, yeah, he's saying their stories. And there's so many layers to that. Stories is good too. Never mind, so you're going to talk over and over. It's class. There's many layers to every word you use that can be taken out of context if you don't know the origin of that word you're using. So the more you know the origin of everything, which when I say everything, I mean, come on now. We're not meant to know everything, but I wanted to say lexicon for some reason. Basically, within the wealth of knowledge you acquired throughout your experience, then that's something that you can share that is a story of your actual experience. And the choice of words is story because you're putting together multiple puzzle pieces from actual factual events from your life into a spiritual crock pot, per se, if you want to say, to present as a story of real facts. I hate using that word because facts just means a lie that's been repeated so much it's a fact. So they use the same word because it can't. Yada yada. That's another time, another topic. So if you have real life experiences, but you're an artist and you know how to, like comedians do, you know how to quirk it right, or you know how to formulate it right. I guess, yeah, you know how to alchemize it right. That's a better choice of words. In order to be able to tell a story that is humorous, a little embellishments for the story purposes, right? You don't want to be dry, sounding like the teacher from Ferris Bueller. Bueller? I mean, you don't want to be a monotone person like that, so you have some embellishment moments so you can get the audience captivated, get them on a cliffhanger at some moments because everything's energy and frequencies. So if you're telling a story and people are giving you the respect of you being on stage and people are quiet, that means a few different things. First thing means they're engaged. You're controlling your environment. So take notes, students. If you ever speak, if you analyze your life in every situation you've ever been in, if you can change the atmosphere and frequency of that room, for instance, you walk into a room that you've never been into before, and there's an individual sitting at the table talking to everybody. That's the head honcho in that room. You happen to come in just because you needed to grab something, whatever. You're an electrician, whatever the case may be. You're just there for a job. You're an independent contractor. You walk in the room and everyone else's attention goes from the head honcho that used to be the
main storyteller, whatever you want to call it, and they focus your attention on. They focus their attention on you, and you didn't say nothing besides just walk in a room, go to your designated spot, look for the wires if you're an electrician, and do your work and leave. But there's something about your aura and your frequency when you walk in any room, since you vibrate high, that frequency is like the sonars, like I was talking about. Spirit team's on point. Sonars I was talking about, that bats, dolphins, and I believe whales use in the water, of course. I was about to say underwater, but that's where they live. That's their home. Underwater, to communicate with one another. Yeah, that's right. Thank God, I was about to lose it. So that sonar frequency underwater that the animals use, I'm saying that word right, that dolphins and sharks use, is the same energy that emulates from each and every one of us if you radiate high frequencies. So when you walked in that room, that frequency is like the sonar. Whatever. I had the noise right. Whatever, you get what I'm saying? It just radiates off your body when you're in the room and it hits them. All of a sudden they just feel a shift in energy and they turn around out of curiosity to look. Why is your eyes always closed, Alonzo? Keeps me focused on my downloads. And then they look at you because they naturally feel it, and their curiosity kicks in to look to find out the destination of that frequency. The destination? To find out the point of origin from that energy that's radiating from the room that caused everyone to feel it, because we're all sponges, so we can all feel energies. So you just took the shine from that person because your energy, that person's energy is high, obviously, because everyone's gravitated to that person, male or female, right? But your energy is higher than that person's energy, and that person recognizes it. Real recognize real. There's a one or a few options that person can do. Be jealous of it, or be respectful because they just encountered another part of their cosmic family. That part. So I highly recommend, we're all students of life and we are all scouts of life too. So if you encounter another chosen one, like, take mental notes. And if you are a boisterous poison, is that a Boston accent? I don't even know what that was. If you are a boisterous person and you don't mind striking up conversation with people, it's like Steve Rogers, I was like Stevie Wonder on that joint. And you don't mind striking up a conversation, then go up to that individual, which is another chosen one, which is a part of your cosmic family anyways, and exchange information and network. What I like to do with people that I come across that are radiating just like me, I literally give them I pay homage. It's like, it's a pleasure and an honor to meet another chosen one. If you don't mind me, I know us chosen ones like our personal space, but I didn't mean to intrude. I just wanted to let you know that I notice you. Not in that way. Pause for everyone that is thinking that. We're secure in our sexuality over here. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I just want you to know that real recognize real, and I would love to share experiences with you, stories-wise, of your chosen one adventures, because us as chosen ones, we always have relatable experience. We all as chosen ones have relatable experiences, but what I mean by relatable is they're all so unique. In that aspect, they're relatable. And another aspect is most people wouldn't believe the stories we went through if you just told them without a witness. Like, yeah, that sounds fictitious. See, I put two words together. I'm going to get some rest soon. It sounds fictitious. So I don't believe it unless your homeboys or your homegirls are right there. And people that real recognize real, when someone's relating something that's actual factual, you can feel the realness off of them. They're not looking around and telling you choppy pieces of a story that sounds like they heard it from someone else and they're trying to remember that story. Because if you're actual there, you don't need to look around and stuff. You know what took place. And yeah. And then you recognize the realness of that too, because it's just authentic. I think that connection was dying down. So when you're real and you vibrate high, people are going to always feel that energy. So when you talk to another person that you come across, thank you, Spirit Team, that represents that same energy, I would highly recommend that you strike up a conversation and exchange each other's information. Thank you. I'm opening up minds because I just had some devil work right there. That was cute. I'm always protected. That was cute. Man, sometimes I feel feelings and energies and thoughts of people's nasty energies. Whew. Okay. That was a good one. That was an eye-opener. All right. So when you vibrate high, people are going to recognize that either subconsciously or consciously. So you either have a few different choices too. You can walk in your light like I'm doing now. It's like there's no point to fake the funk as some true King Arthur shit. You just are who you are. And you have to address uncomfortable things in order to embody that position and role that you were just given. It comes with the territory. There's no picking and choosing. Just like God said to me earlier in the message, there's no more fear and there's no more half-assing. You're lukewarm. You're like putting your feet in the water instead of jumping fully in and fully trusting in me and allowing your vessel to be surrendered over to me. And I was hesitant. I was just kicking my feet in the water thinking I was doing something, but I still was attached to my pleasures of my flesh. And the new change, people that are disappearing from our life and our self-preservation, like I see the change because God's removing all that no longer serves us in order to give us more. That's how God works. But at the same time, there's memories, there's feelings, there's love, there's bonding there, you know? And people that love and have empathy and compassion, it's not a easy decision to make because you know the history that is involved with those connections. And you don't want to be stoic per se off top because you know you have to represent God. So if you do something as cold-hearted as that after you just got your cosmic anointing, you are like demoting yourself because God just gave you a test and you failed it miserably. We as chosen ones been through so much stuff that we're supposed to be able to go in our reference book and say, okay, they're on chapter 33. How ironic. JC numbers. Okay, I'll go with it. So they're on chapter 33 and you've already on chapter 3 million, right? So you can always go back and say, okay, well, this person's at this level. That's an easy fix. Let's just have a one-on-one conversation with this individual. At the same time, we need to see where their head's at. Do they have, all right, my heart chakra's open. That means I'm just going to create more infinite life and love and infinite abundance. Okay, cool. Confidence. Confirmation, bitches. It's cute. That's very cute. I got you. Oh. Okay, so yeah, so you walk in your light and you can't no longer dim your light because your self-preservation wants you to stay attached to all those old identities. And if you know, like I said, how God works, once you start having things being removed from your life, that means something else is about to take its place. And not everybody could come with you in the chapter. So we're like, damn, man, we expected such and such to be here with us. But we're shooting ourselves in the foot because the energy has to match God's frequency. I was 43 minutes in, baby J's. So I think that was a good download for tonight, or this grand rising, whenever you happen to land on this planet. And stay yourself, vibrate high, recognize that if you are vibrating high, ask yourself, why do you think God chose you? And ask yourself what skills and traits you have that can be beneficial for this planet, Kai. Will you be a voice piece? Will you be somebody that's in holistic healing, holistic living? Will you be a sports medicine coach? Will you be a military instructor? a librarian, certified public accountant. I mean, whatever role that you're looking for, depending on what your mission is. So those are questions you're going to have to ask yourself after you've done the proper shadow work and so forth. And then if you ask, you shall find. If you ask, you shall receive. And if you seek, you shall find. We'll read one more and then we'll leave off on that. Some of the goals once again. Did I break down the first one? Oh, I don't even think I broke down that verse. Okay, so in your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone. Thank you, Spirit Team. Who ask you to give the reason for the hope that you have. So what's that saying is, people, whoever comes up to you and they say, how are you so confident in God? Why do you believe in God so wholeheartedly, right? And instead of us being cocky, for lack of words, or arrogant and say, man, because I'm the shit. The next line says, after people ask you, who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have in God, but to do this with gentleness and respect. So it's like, you know for a fact throughout your life that the things that happen can only have happened with the divine intervention of God or a higher power. So when someone asks you that's going through maybe a self-development journey or maybe not, and they ask you this question, why do you believe in God so much? You want to answer everybody with respect and dignity because there's different levels to it. So you want to meet the person where they're at and say, I believe in God so much because I was in a position that you're currently in. After you have done you don't want to assume by saying that to the person. After you ask the right questions, or if you can gauge people very well, then you can see it. But you want to ask that person questions so it won't feel so intrusive. Because a lot of times with our intuitiveness, you just tell the person what's going on and they may be taken back a few notches because they're like, how did you know that? Are you spying on me? And then a lot of questions start arising in that person's head, which they have every right to ask because we're very rare breeds. So with our intuitiveness, you want them to speak first. You want them to share what's going on, and then you can analyze that and then provide solutions. I'll leave it at that. It's almost 50 minutes in here. This is the longest download I've done. I love each and every one of you. Thank you all for the time that you took and are taking to be here with me at No Filter in the Collective. The realest show, hands down. Welcome. My name is Zodog. I'm a little wild. I'm a weirdo. I'm strange. I'm out there, and I enjoy every moment of it. I'm so unpredictable. Hence, people love watching my show because they don't know what's going to come out next. I hope you find that same type of mystique or mysteryism fascinating and intriguing for you to tune in next time to No Filter, the realest show ever. Hands down. I love you. Until next time, you take care.